Welcome back, ladies and gents. I'm Dan the Man Muñoz, and I am joined by special guest Rigo Espinoza.
Hey, Rigo, welcome back.
Welcome. Also here is senior panelist and co-host Z.
Yes, hi. How's it going, guys?
Also here is co-host and sound guy Mike Stan.
Hi, everybody.
So blame him for any audio issues.
Yeah.
Let me share this.
Speaking of which, I'm just checking some audio.
Yes, and everybody share.
I should probably share, yeah.
Here we go.
Yep, we sound great.
Share now.
Now we are sharing.
All right.
Now we are sharing.
We are living.
We are living. All right.
Oh, is it automatically doing it?
It shouldn't.
I don't know.
It shouldn't automatically do anything you don't want it to do. If it's automatically doing something, you're doing
okay, so Z, you are hosting All Eyez On Me, the biopic, the Tupac biopic.
Yes, sir. So, the movie we're reviewing is All Eyez On Me.
All Eyez Z.
Yeah, there's a Z in there. I had to pronounce that, yes. Directed by Benny Boom. Written by Jeremy Hatt, Eddie Gonzalez, and Stephen Bagaturian. Starring Demetrius Shipp Jr., Danae Guria, Kat Graham, and Dominic L. Santana. Here's the plot. Well, there's not much to the plot. Tells the true and untold story of prolific rapper, actor, poet, and activist Tupac Shakur. All right, guys. So depending on your spoiler review, because guess what, guys? It's a biopic. Just like a JFK film, we know what happens in the end.
Back to the left.
All right, so depending on your review, I will decide this movie is worth a dine in, watch it in theaters, a takeout, watch it at home, or leftovers. Just stay home and listen to Tupac Shakur and cry a little bit and drop some some beer on the ground. All right, so whoever wins will earn a point. Whoever has the most points at the end of the season will develop a segment that will air at the end of the season or eventually. Rigo, since you are, I feel like at this point you are kind of like, winning, and on top of that, just simply like you're here every week.
I'm a special correspondent.
But you are a special correspondent. You're forced to be.
Yes, you're a special correspondent. You're not a special guest.
Yes,
you're a special
correspondent. You can choose to either keep the point. I would rather for you keep the point, or donate it to one of us at the end of the season.
You can roll over the points now, Rigo. So
yes,
well, I always give him my points anyway. So
yeah, you give the points to
and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, by we he means he really appreciates it.
By Dan.
Yeah, by Dan. All right, so I want to know what this film's about. I know what what it's about, but I really want to hear whether or not I should watch this film. So Rigo, as our special correspondent, rate this film.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to go with Leftovers.
Oh no,
Leftovers.
Oh man, I mean, I did see Rotten Tomatoes had like a really bad percentage, but this is not worth it for you.
No,
you should just
the movie. Just by you reading off all the directors and all the writers, you could tell this movie was a mess. It's been a mess from the beginning.
It's been through developmental hell.
Yes, it has.
So Leftovers,
and it feels like it's been handled by too many hands.
It feels like it wasn't not by too many, but not the proper hand.
Interesting.
That's
okay.
That's
Mike, what would you rate this?
This was a takeout for me.
Takeout. So you're above. You're saying that it's still worth watching.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with Mike. I think it's a takeout. This is Leftovers would be if Lifetime did a biopic of Tupac.
That's what it felt like to me.
It was better than Lifetime.
No, you know what? And it's not even that. Let's compare this to other biopics.
Sure.
We have Ray. We have that Johnny Cash movie. What was that called?
Yeah, all those are dine-ins.
Yeah, those are fantastic biopics. Like you have one of the most complex figures in the music history, and you couldn't even make a solid movie out of this guy. Like, what happened? I want to know. I want to know why you guys think this movie was even worth my 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yes,
wow.
This is a long film.
It's a long film.
And like it feels like it
tries to cover to cover the long span, but never really covers anything really. It's all surface.
Yeah. It feels like it takes feels like the film doesn't even start until like almost an hour in.
Interesting.
And so it's like and then this thing happened. And then that thing happened.
Okay.
And remember this year that this other thing happened?
Yeah.
The whole device of the movie he is being basically told through he's incarcerated and he's being interviewed. And in being interviewed, there's these flashbacks, and that's what the whole movie is. It's all basically flashbacks from this one interview.
Okay, so that's the way they tell the story.
For the first hour and a half, and then the last 30 minutes is like post incarceration, like him outside of prison.
Okay,
so it's kind of like a weird balance.
And I think that's the general problem with any biopic. You need to know where you're choosing to tell your story from, and more importantly, what part of a person's life you're going to tell it, because you can't really cover somebody's complete life in 2.5 hours. There's absolutely no way. You have to choose to tell a certain part. Straight Outta Compton, for example, talked about what happened with the NWA. It didn't cover all of Dr. Dre's life. Thank goodness. It didn't cover all. I mean, it focused on
Easy
it focused mainly on Easy, and it did it right because it started from where he's, his introduction to crime followed through with his death. And so,
but they still left a lot of things out.
Spoiler for guys who have not watched Straight Outta Compton. I apologize.
But like this movie, they left out a lot for Eazy-E, and they left out a lot for Tupac as well. They didn't dive into a lot of his.
So did they focus on the right stuff? That's my big question.
No, they focused on stuff, and the stuff that they focused on was interesting to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't focus like hard enough. I feel like this is a very cookie cutter biopic where, like, the real Tupac's life lived a hard life, and you don't really get the grit. You get like pieces of it here and there, but you never get the full on like, damn, this guy has lived a hard life.
It felt like a fluff piece.
Okay, so it did
skip over. It shows like the one message I did enjoy or I did like about the movie, which is why it's a takeout. It's just the injustice about what's going on in today's society and how black men were treated back then and how they're still being treated to today's society. It's very relevant. But I almost feel like that message. They really go with that message, but everything else is kind of left in the back burner.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, even so, like, Tupac Shakur was a very interesting character, and even so, like, he still, he murdered a cop. Like, let's be completely honest here. This guy was a very complex dude. Now he murdered him, out of defense, but he still was technically a murderer, and even that was still kind of allowed for his character to grow more as a rapper because he had more experience in the hood and he could talk about that stuff. That's why people really cared about him, because he can talk from where he came from, in the same way that Eazy had that experience. When he was rapping, he was putting his soul in there. Did this feel for you, Rigo, as if any of his soul was in this film?
No.
Yeah.
No. Let me put it to you this way. I agree with Dan and Mike about them. It just felt like they were walking on eggshells the whole time.
Yeah, okay.
Like you couldn't really focus on anything. First, they started focusing on the relationship between Tupac and Jada Pinkett, and that only lasted about like 5 minutes.
Who did Jada Pinkett play?
No. Jada Pinkett. Okay, Jada Pinkett in real life dated Tupac. They were a couple.
Oh, I see.
And they remained friends up until like the very end. Interesting note about that: she went on Twitter and publicly bashed the movie because the whole relationship in that movie was not real. Like nothing that was in the movie happened.
To add to that, also Antoine Fuqua, who was about to direct this film, also completely blasted this film. He wrote on Instagram, "The reason I'm not making this film is because the people involved aren't truly respectful to the legacy of Tupac Shakur. How are you going to make a movie about a man when you're suing his mother to get the rights to tell his story?" So I agree with you in that they were walking on eggshells. They were suing Tupac's mom, and until his mom died in 2016, were they able to greenlight this film. So I agree with that. I mean, it just makes sense.
Just nothing in the movie, like, they didn't focus on anything. Yeah, they gave you some of the important events, like him getting shot outside of the studio where he was gonna go record with Biggie. Yeah. This whole thing with when they came out with "Hit 'Em Up," which kind of started the whole East Coast West Coast beef. Yeah. They mentioned it, but I would have enjoyed.
Everything's mentioned. Nothing's really like delved into.
No, but exactly. I would have enjoyed a story. Okay, let's make this a two-parter, maybe a trilogy.
Yeah, I agree.
Like let's start off with Tupac's childhood. Let's do that. Then let's do his adolescence, where he's in college and he has to leave college and all that stuff. And then let's get into the death row
aspect,
whole equation of it. I would have enjoyed that a whole lot more. It's just this was just like, okay, well, we already
here's
know.
This, here's that, here's this, here's that, and then at the end he dies because that's the story.
It seems like the film actually starts when he gets out of prison.
Exactly. That was the most interesting part to me when he got to death row. You kind of got to see that he did his time. He wasn't even there because he wanted to be there. He was just there just to make because he had an agreement. He wanted to do the 4 records. Yeah. And after that was done, he was like, okay, I'm out. And Suge Knight, being Suge Knight,
force him in.
Yeah, force him into something else.
But that storyline. I mean, we know. I mean, we all saw Straight Outta Compton, and plus people who know the story know Suge Knight and what how dirty he is.
Yes.
Yeah. But that part of
he
the
is
story,
currently in jail, so he won't kill us for saying that.
and I'm sure he's listening in jail.
He's a weekly listener.
Hey, Suge.
We all know. Basically, like we know that story, but it's for me. I still liked watching it. I still like seeing like all the dirty stuff that Suge Knight did.
Yeah.
Because
should they just make a Suge Knight film at this point?
I almost felt like that could be like the 3rd movie is the Suge Knight movie.
No,
like,
but this has no connection. This has no connection to Straight Outta Compton, though.
I do want to say though. Oh my God! I will say Snoop Dogg in this movie is laughable. He's so ridiculous. Like whoever they cast to be Snoop Dogg, and the way it was like people in my theater were laughing. I was laughing. My brother was laughing. Like Snoop Dogg was horrible. The person
Jared Ellis is the actor.
Worst Tupac they could have gotten. I mean, sorry, worst Snoop Dogg they could have gotten. It was terrible.
Okay.
But anyways, I feel like doing the Suge Knight storyline with Death Row. For me, that's like one of the most like when he went to Interscope, I was like, well, we know that's not gonna last because Death Row is his last label.
Yeah.
And that's really real. Like Mike says, the real story starts is when he gets into Death Row.
Which means they should have edited out like the first 45 minutes to hour of the
film.
Well,
no, I feel like they should have picked and choose because I do want to know about his childhood because believe it or not, like his mom would make him every time he got in trouble. Then my brother was telling me because my brother is one of the biggest Tupac fans that I know of. He's a huge fan. Was a fan growing up, and he was telling me that his mom would make him read the cover-to-cover newspaper every time he did something wrong. So Tupac was very educated, and I like that they did show that because they had him quote Shakespeare all the time.
Cool.
Would you think that he would quote Shakespeare a lot?
I knew he was a poet, so there was definitely that aspect of him.
Yeah, there was that, and so it was nice to see that on screen. Like, he wasn't just a thug, but he was very intelligent. So that's another reason why I like the movie.
Yeah,
they did portray him as very intelligent in the movie, and not just a thug.
Gotcha. Usually biopics, and this is my last question. But usually biopics are meant to share with a new generation. The stories of the past in the same way that Johnny Cash's story kind of brought a new generation Johnny Cash. Does this story at the very least bring a good image of Tupac Shakur to a new generation?
I think for the what's interesting, there was a lady sitting next to me, an old lady, and she watched the film and she didn't look like the demographic this movie was meant for. After the movie was over, she was just sitting there and I was sitting there and I kind of like turned around and asked her like, did you just come watch this just because, or did you know who he was? And she was like, no, I didn't really know who he was, but now that I have seen the movie, I'm kind of interested to know. And I was like, well, don't take all this that you saw with a grain of salt because this is not what he was all about. Like, yeah, they do show sprinkles of what he was all about and what he wanted to be, but no, this movie was done wrong.
Yeah, no, this shouldn't be the official biopic for him.
Okay,
but this is
it is not official.
It is. Yeah, but
no, it's not.
No, it's not. But it's a nice for people who
don't know.
I think it's a good introduction to him.
Okay,
what do you think was like the most important stuff of his life that they left out in the film, Rigo?
Real quick before we go on, there's a couple of people who've commented.
Sure.
And my brother David, who's a Tupac fan, shout out to you. Is commenting.
David?
So that's right. And then Frank says hi, Rigo.
Hey, Frank.
Hello, Frank.
But well, the most important aspect was that he was an educated man. People that see him as he has a thug life tattoo on his stomach. Yeah. You just saw him as a thug because he did a lot of stuff. Like he shot the cop. He didn't know it was a cop. They actually showed that incident in the movie.
Scene,
Oh, okay.
But he was very smart, and it was I agree with Dan. It was very cool to see that the mom would ask him every day like, what was the story on the newspaper, and he would have to say like, oh, this was the story, this was on the paper today. So he was very smart. I guess people know that, but they really don't know that because perception isn't always the reality.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like media takes over, especially back then. They even had that scene where the lady was saying, "That's obscene, that's obscene, that's obscene." That's very famous news footage of this lady talking about his music.
Gotcha.
So they even had that in the movie. So.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna. You know what? I respect the two of you guys putting this out there. However, the small research that I did just left me really kind of devastated. And hearing that they simply waited for Tupac's mom to pass away. That is cold, and it sounds like this movie was a clusterfuck. So Rigo, you got the point.
Even want to be responsible for that. Think about it. John Singleton, which it has been duly noted, had a lot of beef with Tupac. He was on board to make this movie, and once he saw what was going on, was like,
he backed away. Yeah.
No, and he's not the type to like back away from the project. If he sees something, he'll either try to fix it or try to do something like to make it work. And it was just a mess. I don't know. People like it. If you like it, that's fine. I like the music on there, of course. But other than that,
they had the rights to his music.
Yeah, so it was like the music was cool. Like they picked the perfect blend of music, nice old and some the newer stuff.
Yeah,
but.
So don't see the movie and listen to the soundtrack.
Yeah, that's what I would say too. Just listen to the music.
This movie is currently being sued as well. So there's a lot of back and forth going on.
Anyways, Dan, I give back the ownership of the show to you.
Thank you. So Mike, we get points.
That's fine.
You do not get points. Rigo gets the points.
I won.
That's okay.
So I'm gonna give my point to Z.
Thank you. Hey, you don't have to, but I really appreciate it.
You got to record it.
I want to be the special correspondent with 0 points.
That you are, Rigo. That you are. All right. Thank you so much, Rigo Espinoza, for being on the show. Anything you want to plug?
No, just
plug our show.
Yeah, you know what? Thank you for everybody that's been adding from my feed, from my friends list onto you guys.
We appreciate you,
Frank.
Yes, thank you.
So other than that, I got nothing to plug. I did see Beatrice at dinner today.
Yeah.
Go watch that. It's a really compared to
everything
Tupac,
else this week. Yeah.
It's like compared to everything else, this was like the best movie to watch.
Nice.
Watch that. I'll plug that movie. Beatrice at dinner. Go watch it.
Awesome.
All right. On that note, thank you so much, Rigo, for being on the show. Thank you, Z, for being on the show and hosting both reviews. And thank you, Mike Stan, for losing with me.
Hey, Dan, you at least got points for Cars 3. So you know
what?
Thank you the real loser is Mike.
That's what I'm good at.
Hey, but Mike had like 20 points in 1 week. So
he did. Good. Yeah, he did earn a lot.
That's right. So it was a magical week.
It only happens once in a millennium.
It's like leap year. It happens once every 4 years.
Nice.
Yeah, it happens once every 4 years.
Yep.
Okay.
That means we'll be around another 4 years then. Yay!
Oh man!
All right, thank you so much. Thank you everyone who watched on our Facebook.
Much. Hope you have fun.
Make sure to check us out on all social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Make sure to subscribe to us on iTunes and SoundCloud. Follow the link in our Facebook. You go ahead and find us and subscribe. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, goodbye.
Bye.
See you later.
All right. It is.
Bumper. I could do the bumper.
I guess you guys want to run off?
Yeah. If you're still down, Rigo.
I'm always down.